Hi, it's Vera.
Hi, it's Suvira. Welcome to another episode of Kapao Dal.
When we ended our first episode, we promised you another episode, maybe talking about our ancestry and how we ended up in Thailand. However, in light of recent events, we decided to talk about something else.
Yeah, so we thought we would do something a little bit different to what we originally planned. That being said, this is an episode that we did have planned for further into the future. We've decided to maybe reprioritize and bring it forward to now, since it is quite a relevant topic to recent events.
And of course, we're talking about racism by Thais against Indians.
So what has brought on this sudden conversation that has taken Thai Indians by storm?
So it seems that a Thai person has died, and the cause of that would have been an Indian, a Thai Indian specifically, a Sardar. And our heart goes out to the family of the victim. It is a very sad and unfortunate event that none of us would have ever hoped to come to pass. And this is very public right now. It's on all the news channels. It's in every news. It's in every online media. It's getting a lot of comments from people because there was a big altercation. And what I want to say is we don't want to get into the specificities of what happened and how it happened and why it happened, but rather would like to touch upon the implications of this on us as a whole, Thai Indian society.
Yeah, so we're not going to make any comment, or we're not going to speculate on anything that has or has not occurred. We will not be talking about any more about what has happened. The idea of this episode is to address the potential fallout that Thai Indians may face from serious potential flashpoint events that could affect us all. And no matter what that may entail, it could be nothing. It could be something it could be something serious that we face. It might pass with the news cycle, or for all we know, the backlash could be extreme.
Right. And I guess this is where I kind of differ from Suvir in my point of view.
What are your thoughts on this, Vera?
The way I see it, your perspective that, oh, this could be something quite bad is one way of looking at it and feeling that might be the way that things will turn out to be. I beg to differ.
Elaborate.
In my perspective, I want to believe in the goodness of people. What I mean is, I think that, yes, we have to acknowledge that this thing happened. It will initially impact a lot of people because everyone's going to be talking about it tomorrow. I look at this as an opportunity for us to talk about it with people around us as it comes up. And I don't think it's going to be that bad on us as a society.
Do you think that there will be backlash from Thais towards Thai Indians? Do you think that they will group us together? Or do you think there might be some form of collective punishment that we face as a result of such an extreme event that has occurred?
I think that's a very loaded question. I believe that, yes, for the next couple of days, the people very close to the incident and its actors are going to go through a very difficult time. There will be potentially backlash from the writers' community.
What's a writer's community?
A writer, sorry. The victim in this incident was a writer, a delivery messenger, right? So I think there might be some backlash to the people around him. Did you see the news, Sov?
Yeah, so I've always felt like Thai Indians, we live in this sort of bubble where any little bit of a misstep will push us into this territory where we will be the targets of crimes or hate crimes specifically, just because we are so othered from the Thai community and we look different, we behave differently, we act differently. We're insular, relatively. And that is one of the characteristics or the traits of being a minority. It does tend to be that minorities are insular. They do hang out with each other more. After reading the news, I was shocked at one particular detail, and that's the fact that the perpetrator's office location was detailed in almost every publication by Thai media. I found that shocking. And to me, that feels like recipe for something that could go wrong.
True. I think though, see, right now people are looking at it and we're reading these things online, right? Of course, that's where most of the concerns for people in our community comes from, because we're looking at those news and at the same time we're seeing what Thais are commenting. And a lot of it sounds racist, right? They're calling ไอ้แขก ไอ้บัง ไอ้เหี้ย มึงมาทำอะไรที่ประเทศไทยวะ? Sorry, let me do that in English as well. They're calling us Indians, bloody Indians. What the hell are you doing in Thailand? You're coming here, you're breaking the laws, you're breeding like bunnies. And you are afraid that these people are the ones that's going to take some action.
So just to be clear, where are you reading these comments, or where are you getting this? Where are you finding these things?
In the media's Facebook pages where they're publishing these videos of the news itself.
So this isn't random accounts on Facebook. This is actually on news media websites?
Yeah, on Facebook, mainstream media in Thailand, people are commenting. But these are keyboard warriors. This is what they do. They post shit online because they don't feel any implications of it. They don't have any ramifications. And I believe it comes from a place of ignorance.
Can ignorance be dangerous?
Of course it can, but keyboard warriors are not going to act. They're not going to go in front of this guy's shop at 2 p.m. to protest or do anything. Because at the end of it, this is a personal matter. Yes, the person who passed away has a family. So this will be dealt between the families and this will be dealt in the courts because according to law, someone passed away, someone died. It has to be handled through the courts process as well.
So do you think that my fear of going into Sampeng or someone else's fear of going into their tailor shop might be unfounded due to these events? Because I have this low-key fear that someone will want to take revenge. Someone will want retribution for what has happened. And it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but these kinds of incidents build resentment and they build anger. And eventually it comes to a boiling point.
So I think that's a very valid concern in that as humans, we fear for the worst. And that's okay. But I feel many who have those sentiments, and I've heard about this from many people, right? I've spoken to many people over the course of today, and everyone has some sort of fears. I believe that it's okay to have that, but I also believe that we as Indians give ourselves too less credit.
What do you mean?
I think we discount the value of our relationships with those around us. We have neighbors who are Thai, who we've been dealing with our whole lives. We have friends who are Thais, who we grew up with in some capacity. We have people who work for us, people we trade with, people we meet on a day-to-day basis, who know us as people, who look at us as human beings equals to them. They look at us, they don't see us CAC. Yes, they see that we're different, but they know us. They don't call us CAC, they call us คนไทยเชื้อสายอินเดีย because they know we are Thais.
Yes, the people that we interact with all know us. That I grant you. But when you do look around social media, when you do talk to the average taxi driver or the person that you meet outside of the central areas of Bangkok, why does nobody know who we are? Why does nobody know we exist?
Well, so I think that's the classic PR problem. And I feel this as well. Like I was saying, on a personal level, most Thais know a Thai Indian. But when they look at us as a group, they look at us and think Indians. And then they say, oh, this Thai Indian is good. Indians in general are probably shit. We do have a PR problem. And my first thought was because we look different, we feel different.
To your point though, like, okay, you said everyone knows someone. And so basically we are the exception, we're not the rule. We are the acceptable Indians, not the Indian majority, which Thai people still haven't accepted as the ones that they would rather keep around as opposed to the snake.
You're alluding to เจองูเจอแขกให้ตีแขกก่อน That's the most racist shit ever, I can tell you that. But before we get there, I think let's backtrack a little bit.
Sure. I want to talk a little bit more about my fear as well. And just the place that we are in the world right now. We're in a right-wing, anti-immigration, extremely insular and polarized world right now. And I think that applies to Thailand as well. And with incidents like this, my fears come to the forefront. And recently in England, for example, in December, there were riots that occurred due to the Southport stabbings, which were actually incorrectly attributed to a Muslim minority group. And even then, retribution was taken against these Muslim minority groups. And my fear is that if it can happen there, why can't it happen here? Why can't we face the collective punishment that goes on with minorities in other countries?
So I think first off, I would say that we are not free from harm here. There is a chance that it might happen here as well, because I don't know, right? Things might go super south. But I don't think we're at that level as a whole yet for a couple of reasons. One, the incident in the UK had a lot of history there. British people have witnessed a rise of immigrants going into the country over the past 50 years. And there's a lot of groundwork into that hate fueling up. There have been many atrocities that have been attributed to minorities. That is not the case here. Indians in Thailand, we maybe have not been assimilating well, but we have been trying to establish ourselves as respectable businessmen. We have been trying to get about our business with our heads down without rattling the cage.
So what you're trying to say is that we don't have the drama that's associated with Muslim hate crimes in the UK. And we in Thailand have kept our heads down. We've worked hard. We've caused relatively no drama. We've tried more or less to be ethical, to be generally upstanding citizens and to represent ourselves in a positive way.
Absolutely. And I would give credit where credit is due. We have many people within our society who contribute, people who represent the Indians and donate to causes, who make sure that we are being represented positively. There is a problem, though, which I think you alluded to when we were discussing this earlier, which is if we haven't assimilated,
For me, the underlying issue is something that I experience myself, and it's a problem that I have as well. I live it every day. And for me, the problem is one of integration. It's simple. We, through the generations, we've been here for 4 or 5 generations now. I don't have the exact percentages, but I can say that the majority of us have married within our community. We have not, for the most part, intermarried with Thais. Most of us, or a lot of us, listen to more English music than we do Thai music. Most of us don't know, or a lot of us don't know Thai as well as we do English, especially me.
So can you say yak yai, lai yak lek, lai yak yai?
Most of us know more English than we know Thai. It's integration, man. Aside from the looks, we can do nothing about. We can't change the way we look. Actually, that's not true as well. Had we married into Thai families, our looks would get progressively more Thai. We would look more local, naturally. I'm not saying that we should force integrate, but
that lack of integration or that limited integration that has happened between Thais and Indians over the years as Indians moved here, is this something that is the same in other countries, or is this something that's unique to Thailand only?
which countries are we talking about? Are we like,
So let's say Canada.
I don't think that the sentiment from white Canadians towards Indians is at an all-time high right now either. That brings us back to the political climate of the world right now, right? Which is,
No, but that's right now. But let's say 20 years ago, were Indians in the UK marrying Goras?
that's a good question. I don't think they were.
Exactly.
That would mean that you're trying to say that there has not been a race problem in the UK, but there has. There has been a race problem a racism problem in the UK, just like there is one here.
And is that because Indians have not been so good at integration? Because we choose to marry within our own community?
So it does seem like maybe Indians do worldwide at some level have an issue integrating with the dominant culture. Why that is?
I might beg to differ here a little bit, where I want to distinguish two things: culture and religion. Given the religious background of the Indian subcontinent and all that tension between Hindus, Muslims, Sikhs, Jains, Buddhists, that clash between religions and you are of your people, you should marry within your religion, that sentiment is super strong. So I would say that Indians haven't married as many Thais, Britishers, or whichever country we go to, isn't because they are a different culture as much as because they are from a different religion.
I don't disagree with you. I actually think it's more than that even. It does seem sometimes that Indians are insular and untrusting. I put that down to our history. We had to fight colonialism. It required us to come together, to be with each other and fight our oppressors. And unfortunately, that seeped maybe into our culture a little bit. And it's meant that we sometimes don't go far enough to assimilate with the dominant culture. But let's bring this back to Thailand. What can we do here? Or what can we do here to help ourselves?
So what I believe, and this goes back to what I said earlier, we need to look at this as a team event and a personal event. Nothing is going to change if we don't do anything. Those people online who are not within Bangkok, who comment, who call us names, who can't distinguish between Thai Indians and regular Indians and are racist to everyone in general who is not Thais, I don't think that they're bad people. They're just ignorant. And you don't cure ignorance by being bad at them or calling them names. You cure it by educating them. And you can only educate people by talking to them, by showing them that, hey, look at me. I'm Veera. I am Thai. Sure, I might not look Thai. That's because I'm Thai Indian. But I was born here. I grew up here. I speak the same language as you. I'm here to help you as much as you help me as a fellow man. And I think that's the only way forward. And that's the only way we can move past this.
So we need to up our PR game.
We need to up our PR game. It's not going to be easy because, like we discussed, the next 2-3 days is going to be tough for all of us, mostly for the family. But what we're going to go through as people is going to be much easier compared to what they're going through right now. So this is a time I feel that we need to stand together as a society, as a group, and help each other. Share a positive message. Let yourself be a positive part within this negative incident.
I have an interesting question for you. Sometimes one of the benefits that I feel about being Thai Indian is that we can choose when to be Thai, we can choose when to be Indian, we can choose when to be international. We can choose our level of ignorance towards each of these cultures. It makes me wonder whether when something occurs that is a potential detriment towards the Thai Indian society, do we distance ourselves from it? Do we pretend? Do we play into the perpetrator's brown skin? Or do we own the crime as a Thai Indian?
That's a very good question, Soph. And I guess many of us are thinking the same. In such a situation, do we want to acknowledge that something has happened and one of us was part of it? Or do we want to distance ourselves from that group or distance that person from our group? And I would say that now more than ever, we need to stand for ourselves as a community. We accept it. It happened. That person is Thai Indian. There's no denying it.
I know we don't need to deny it, but a lot of the news reports that I've read have attributed this to a Chow India as opposed to someone who is Thai of Indian origin. And sometimes I wonder, maybe it's better that they've attributed this to an Indian tourist as opposed to someone who we know is a third or fourth generation Thai citizen.
But if we allow that ignorance to foster, it would just be denying our identity as Thai Indians. And that's where my concern is and why I would say that we need to correct them. If they say, oh, this is an Indian person, say, no, this is not an Indian person. He is a Thai Indian person. He is a Kon Thai Chai India.
And trust that Thais will
be able to discern the man from the people.
I think that's a great way to conclude our show. But before that, like in every episode, we need to have our whodunit. Vera, what's our whodunit for today?
And for today's whodunit, my personal most hated phrase that Thais love to say, เจองูเจอแขกให้ตีแขกก่อน. Or in English, you meet a snake or an Indian, hit the Indian first. The question is, who was the first person to come up with this?
So Vera, whodunit?
I don't know, to be honest. A horrible saying. It's a dirty, hateful way of saying things about 1.4 billion people at once.
Is it Vivek Ramaswamy?
I don't think it was, but I actually don't even want to know where the saying comes from. I would like to ask you a favor. If you hear anyone say it, tell that person it is not okay to say something like that. This needs to stop in our generation. This doesn't need to perpetuate on to future generations because we're more advanced than that now as a people. We're better as a people. Thais are better as a people, and let's hold them accountable for it.
This has been a much heavier episode than we anticipated. Thank you for listening. We really hope that we haven't hit any nerves or upset anyone. That hasn't been our intention.
The issue of racism towards Thai Indians is a very big and real one. We do apologize because we know we haven't touched on all aspects of it, and it's much a bigger issue than we can just discuss within a 20 minutes episode.
Thank you for listening. We value your opinions and we hope you do feedback. This is one of those topics that we do need to talk about, and let's get our voices out there.
Absolutely. We would love to hear what are your thoughts about this. Follow us, subscribe on Spotify, Apple Music, or YouTube. Share your comments in whichever channel you see. We would definitely want to hear from you. If you have a personal story, if you have an angle that you would like to add on, please reach out. Signing out, this is Vera.
This is Suvira.
And you've been listening to Kapao Dao.